Woods Farm here. Just starting to do the reassembly of the Volkswagen engine. I didn't do a complete teardown. All I did is kind of stripped off all the accessories and did a real good cleanup on it. There was a lot of dirt and debris packed into the cooling fans, fins, and all that kind of stuff. So it needed to be cleaned up. So we're done that. We're going to start putting it back together. So I took apart the engine kind of in a haphazard way, and then now I'm looking at this manual and I'm going to follow the steps to reassembling it the way that this manual has it done. So it suggests the first thing you do is put in new spark plugs. I am going to skip that. I'm going to wait. These are just the old ones. We'll change those out later. And then the oil pressure sending unit, so that stayed on. So the next thing it wants you to put on is the oil cooler itself, which goes here. There's two rubber O-rings, and then the cooler gets bolted on. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Just 3 bolts, one right there, and there's 2 underneath. A little tricky, but you just get the 3 bolts down. Next part that goes on is the fuel pump. And then you mount on the thermostat. There's one point where it bolts on to the block. And you got to feed up this guide rod. It goes up between the 2 cylinders right here. Next step is the generator pedestal, and there's this kind of stainless steel sort of tin piece with louvers, and I don't think this is the way I found it, but in the manual this is clearly the way it's shown reinstalled, so that's what we're going to do. So just putting the top sheet metal panels on. And then there's also a piece of sheet metal that goes behind the front pulley. You got to put there's 2 screws here that you need the pulley off to take off this piece of sheet metal. Now, a lot of this sheet metal is in really rough condition. I want to see if this engine will run before I replace any of it, but a lot of it, like this piece here, is going to get replaced if the engine actually comes to life. Okay, so we're almost there. We got intake manifold on. We've got the fan shroud put in place. So there's a little bit of screwing around to get the shaft that connects the thermostat to the louvers. That's a little tricky, but we got it sort of set up. And yeah, now we're just looking at putting on the alternator and the fan and the pulley belt, and then we're going to work on some of the ignition system stuff.